Okay.
All right, you good? Cool.
Hmm.
All right, I've just started the recording. We are rolling. So,
Okay.
Jessica, thanks for the time today. For everyone watching this, Jessica and I have been working together, or actually, we were working together for some time. Recently, we didn't have to work together anymore. She reached a new level that she was able to grow her business and do things more on her own. So, since we had a working relationship, Jessica was nice enough to sit down with me, and I wanted to just get to know ask some questions and get to know her from the beginning to where she is today and the transformation. As you know, we help people like her connect realtors and grow referral networks. So I wanted to ask Jessica some questions and find out where she was then, where she is now, and in between, and why it worked for her, why it was successful for her. So maybe you who are watching this can figure out how it's going to be successful for you as well. So Jessica, thanks so much for your time. Let's
Hmm.
start with who are you, how long you've been in mortgages, and how did we connect?
Sure. My name is Jessica Lucas. I have been in the mortgage world for a year and a half. Prior to that, I was a public school teacher and I came into mortgages for a couple of different reasons, mostly because I started homeschooling my only child and I wanted to have a career opportunity where I could still teach and help people, but still facilitate my homeschool. And a lot of people think like, wait a minute, going from public school teaching to mortgages seems like a jump, but honestly, it's so similar because I work with people who are really they're just ready to learn how to buy a house. And so the majority of my job is educating them. And I really enjoy that. I I got my license in March 2024 and I was hired on with my brokerage in early April 2024. I started then at that point creating my social media profiles. At that point, I didn't really have any. When you're a public school teacher, you kind of refrain from having an online presence.
Makes
so
sense.
um, I created my LinkedIn, and not long after that, I received a message from someone who said, "Hey, I see you're new to the mortgage industry. Would you be interested in a conversation on how you can prospect successfully?" And I was interested in that conversation. That person then set me up with a my first meeting with you, and
Sure.
you asked questions that were very supportive. Like your entire goal was to help me. Like, what can I do to help you? What are your goals? And so we had that initial conversation. I took some time to think on it because it was an investment in
Mhm.
both you and my business. And I felt after my reflection period that it was worth it. And so that's kind of how we got started working together. And that would have been in May, I believe. We started working together in May, but my actual prospecting
Month
journey
later.
was launched in June.
Correct. About a month, about 3 or 4 weeks later.
Right.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
I remember the conversation very well. It's
Hmm.
crazy, not last April, but the April before that.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
was I was like a newborn baby. I was
Sure, yeah,
very
you had
new.
just gotten started, and I
Hmm.
enjoy working with people who are just getting started because
Hmm.
um there is I feel like they're more coachable, less ego, less I know what I'm doing, and more
Hmm.
I want to trust the expert, and that made my job easier. So I appreciated that. So
Yeah, of course.
when we did connect, I guess what were some things holding you back from where you wanted to go? You mentioned that you had to take some time to
Hmm.
decision. Like what were some things you were thinking about? And I guess back to my original question, what were some things that were holding you back from where you wanted to go before we started working together?
Sure. So I think the two main um, reservations, if you want to call them that, that I had, and not so much that I was withholding myself, but just the things that I really had to think about is number one, will this really work? Number two, am I willing to put in the time and effort and the investment? Because that's what it is. I'm investing in myself, I'm investing in my business.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm a very analytical person and I like to see things on paper. And so I kind of had to lay out like, okay, if this is what it's going to look like and this is how much it's going to cost, how long could it take me to then see a return in my investment and how much time am I going to have to put it? And so like I kind of just laid it all out and it really made sense because like I said, having come from a background where I really didn't have any connections in this industry other than the one realtor that I had worked with to purchase my first home and then my second home. I didn't know anybody in the industry. And so I thought, okay, I can try to do this by myself and maybe be successful, or I can work with someone who has been in this industry, who knows the ins and outs, who can really not only help me get on my feet, but teach me how to then continue to be successful. I I realized like this is a long-term investment. Even though you and I might not have worked together long term, everything that I have learned has been
Mhm.
long term and it's information that I will carry with me and it's information that I still use today, techniques that I still use today, wording that I still use today that I am now successful with. And the goal is to only become more successful and in the time that we worked together, I more than doubled my investment, so
Wow, we'll
yeah.
we'll get into that. And props to
Hmm.
you to betting on yourself. As you can
Hmm.
imagine, 99 out of 100 people that I talk to, they don't bet on themselves.
Hmm.
They go back to whatever they were doing,
Hmm.
which ultimately got them to a phone call with me in the first place. So
Hmm.
clearly, whatever they were doing wasn't working. Off to you. What were you doing anything beforehand? Like, what had you tried in the past as far as solutions before connecting with me, if anything? Since you were new,
Nothing.
it was
Yeah,
nothing.
I hadn't tried anything yet. I pretty much just thought, okay, I'll make these social media profiles. I made my LinkedIn, my Facebook, my Instagram, and my initial thought was, okay, that's the easiest way to reach people.
Hmm.
And as I was building those profiles, that's when someone from your team reached out to me, and so I was still in the very beginning. I hadn't tried anything else. Now I will say in that time, because I know that there are companies out there who, set up their systems to find newer people in the industry. I did speak with several other people who had reached out to me from different companies who offered not the exact same type of solutions, but similar services. And I found myself less interested in all of them because I really felt like I was just a number. But
Hmm.
when I spoke with you and talked with you, like I could tell you were genuinely invested in helping me as a person. It wasn't just about the numbers. And through the conversations we have had since then, I still feel that way. So that was really what made me decide to work with you.
Okay, that actually answers my next question. That means a lot. We are a small company.
Hmm.
So as long as we are a small company, everyone is, they're not a number. They're someone that we genuinely want to help because if we don't, that's our reputation on the line. And
Right.
that's something that I think a lot of people who are in your shoes don't really realize. When you're working with a smaller company, you are going to get more one-on-one personalized attention, support. And I pride myself in the team to be able to do that.
Hmm.
So it's nice to hear. Um,
Hmm.
when you did invest with us, I guess what made you finally decide to do that? You mentioned obviously that I was out for your best interest, but like, is there anything else that made you say, okay, I'm going to invest? That's my final decision. What is there anything else behind that?
It was really just being really honest with myself. I didn't come into this business to fail at it. I didn't come into this business to maybe make it. I made a decision. This is my career. This is the path that I'm taking. This is what I want to do, and I want to be really good at it. I want to be successful, and I don't want to pretend like I know what I'm doing because I didn't. I mean, I passed the test. I knew the logistics of how to do my job, but I hadn't yet met with a realtor partner. I hadn't yet met with a client. I hadn't had the full experience, from start to finish. And so um Did I think that I would find the support within my own brokerage once I got hired? Absolutely. Did I also know that the people that I would be receiving help from had their own businesses to run and their own work to do? Absolutely. And so I didn't want to rely on other people who were doing exactly what I was doing because I I felt like it wasn't necessarily their responsibility, if that makes sense.
Does.
So I thought if I invest in myself, if I invest in you, we are like symbiotic. Like you need me and I need you, and we're going to
Yep.
work together from start to finish. And I'm not going to have to wonder if you'll have time for me. And I'm not going to have to wonder if, I will be doing the right things to reach the right people. I mean, I felt so confident that it would work and it did.
I think that resonates with a lot of people because I speak with a lot
Mhm,
of mortgage professionals who do take a step back away from someone like myself or another solution, whatever makes the most sense for them. And they go back to what their company provides, which I had never thought of it like that personally. They do have their own things, on their plate. You don't know if they're going to be available for you when you need them to be available for you. They have their own
mhm,
lives. They have their own businesses, as you said. My business is with you and everyone else who's in your shoes. Uh,
mhm,
and so for them, yeah, I can see how um, that lack of support, not because they don't want to, just because they have other things to do and they would love to help you,
mhm,
but life happens. And so, yeah, you being responsible for your own actions, you betting on yourself. I mean, that's how we're here today. So props
mhm.
for that. Um, for you, like what specific strategies did we implement? Because we implemented a lot, not just the outreach, but a lot of organization, a lot of follow-up, a lot of personalized things, nurture. What do we do in the first 6 months that had the biggest impact on your business?
The biggest impact for me was when you set up my LinkedIn and Sales Navigator to reach out to realtor partners in my local area and set up the initial conversation so that I then had a warm lead when they replied. I think a lot of the time, people in my position who are new don't really know how to introduce themselves to potential partners in this industry. That usually is the scariest step. Like, how do I
Mhm.
begin speaking to these people? What do I do if they reject me? And,
Yeah.
I, because you had set up my profile and set up my conversations with realtor partners to then give me the opportunity to speak to them, having already had those initial messages sent out, that when they did reply, it was a lot less scary. And then you gave me scripts to work with, which I then turned into my own, right? Because you don't want to sound like a robot when you're talking to these people. You want to be yourself, but it's nice to have guidance. So to know that when they replied, it's because they were actually then interested. And then I had things to kind of fall back on, like, okay, they replied like this is how I should respond. They didn't necessarily seem interested. Okay, well, we don't want to close the door. This is how I can respond and say, like, okay, well, when you're ready, let's talk. Or, you know, like it those those initial processes gave me the confidence I needed to then go out and do those things on my own. um that
Nice.
really is what helped me the most.
Yeah, I call them micro steps. So like setting up your profile the right way, having that first initial outreach message go out, targeting the right people. These are
Hmm.
all things that anyone can figure out, but because there's so many micro steps, like what do I do if they say this? What do I do if they say this? There's a lot of branches it can go into. And when someone just doesn't know what to do and they're guessing and checking and they eventually are not getting results that they want because they're just randomly responding the way they think or they're randomly setting up their account the way they think without any sort of background or expertise or knowledge or strategy, they tend to think it doesn't work, and after a couple of weeks they just stop.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, those micro steps tend to be the hardest part and things that people don't even realize. Before you have a conversation with someone, you have to attract them, get their attention, get them to know you, say the right thing, and there's more. So,
Mhm,
yeah, we helped you bypass all of that by just getting individuals who want to chat with you, and then when they say, "Hey, Jessica, I'd love to chat," you popped in, which
mhm.
a lot easier it sounds.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it was.
That's awesome. In terms
Mhm,
of like concrete numbers, you
mhm,
mentioned earlier, let's talk about some concrete numbers here. It's all also only been, we're talking about building your referral network. We're talking about relationships. So it's only been a year. You plan to do
mhm,
it the rest of your career. So it's only been a year, but what have been, like where are you before, where were you before and like where are you now in terms of referral partners, loans closed, overall business situation from when we started to today?
mhm. Sure. So I think people who are starting in this industry, or maybe they have been in it, but they haven't found their rhythm yet, they're considering working with you. Um, I think people need to understand that patience is key. This is not something where success happens overnight. This is not an industry where you get your license, you get hired on a brokerage, and you're making five figures a month. That's not the way that it works. It requires patience. It requires putting in a lot of effort over a period of time to then set you up for success in the long run. So, I got my license in March, hired on with my brokerage in April, met you in May, and then my campaign was launched with you in June. I then did not close my first loan until October. And from October until now, I have closed 11 loans. Um, so
Wow.
I'm, averaging essentially one loan a month, um, which is huge, honestly, because I I know people who have been doing this as long or a little bit longer than me. Some people are at the 2-year mark, um, who have found success on their own, but have closed maybe 3 or 4 loans in 2 years. And so I say that to say, working with you, I did I had that patience, which you very, honestly set me up to like prepared me for in the beginning and said, like, listen, this is gonna take time. Where my job, your job was to create the introductions, but it was my job to sell what I do. And
Yourself.
so it was very much a team effort. It was me understanding that, you were doing everything that you could. You were putting in, your 100%. I still had to put in my 100%. And through that, up to now, I've closed 11 loans. I have done a myriad of loans as well. They haven't all been the same. I've done a bank statement, VA, FHA, conventional. I've done HELOC. I've done refinance. Like I've done all kinds of stuff. Um, and I would say five really, really strong realtor partners. I have a few others that I'm in conversation with, but nothing has happened yet. But I do remember in the beginning, you told me your goal was that I would have six really, really strong realtor partners. And I have five really, really strong realtor partners with others that I think have potential to be really strong.
Mhm.
They have their own situations right now. Some of them are newer to the industry, and aren't, finding their groove yet. But I think something that I have learned throughout all of this, I think there's this idea that to be successful as a mortgage loan originator, you need to have 20, 30, 40 really strong realtor partners, but that's just not true in my experience. Um, all of the prospecting that you help with is to find those 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 really, really strong realtor partners. It's not to, you
Yeah.
know, to overload yourself with 20, 30, 40. If I get to that point where I have 20, 30, 40 really strong realtor partners, that's great. But like I remember us talking, at the beginning and saying like by the 1 year mark, six was the goal. And I'm pretty much there. And of those five really strong ones that I have, that's where all of my loans have come from. So it's number wise, I have almost this calendar year have almost surpassed my teaching salary. That's been my personal goal. Surpass my
Wow.
teaching salary. I'm one jumbo loan away or two fairly, you know, average
Yeah.
loans away from surpassing my teaching salary. I will 100% do it by December 31st.
Congrats.
Um,
Further congrats. Knock on wood.
and
Congrats. Awesome.
that um, I don't know, to be honest, what I expected when I first started as a mortgage loan originator. I didn't have any hard set goals like that.
Mhm.
But in January, I was like, oh, I can do this. I've got these strong relationships with these referral partners, and I believed in myself, and the numbers were there, and yeah, I just
Yeah.
put my mind to it. I sold so in October last year, I closed two loans. I then had a lull until March. March, I closed one, and then all of the others I closed this summer. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's exciting to to hear like there like people are probably noticing there was this huge gap where like not much happened. That
Hmm.
we're prospecting. So
Hmm.
by us basically forcing you to be in front of realtors all the time for an extended period of time, much more than you'd be able to call or drive to on your own.
Hmm.
That's awesome that you have five referral partners and you have probably 100, I call them pipeline leftovers, people who just
Yeah.
they like, know, and trust you, but
Hmm.
haven't worked with you yet. But that's
Right.
100 realtors who didn't know you existed before, and it
Hmm.
require more nurturing, like because of rates, because of the market. Not everyone is, because of personal things. It's really important to continue to nurture your pipeline value because
Oh yeah.
you once had zero partners, then you once had one, now you have five,
Hmm.
soon you'll have six because you have the pipeline.
Hmm.
You're now in a position that you weren't in a year ago. Uh,
Oh, absolutely. And I think something that people watching need to understand who are thinking, okay, well, 100, realtors, I can totally reach out to them by myself. Those 100, people who have actually replied to me, who like that I know now, that I've conversed with, that maybe will work with me someday, those are the ones who replied. The prospecting campaign reached out to thousands
thousands,
of
yeah.
realtor partners. That's not something that I would have time to sit there and do by myself. um Not everyone is going to reply. So I mean, if I had sat there and said, okay, I'm going to reach out to all these realtors, I'm going to try to figure out which ones are in my area and which ones might align with me, and if I had taken the time myself
Mhm.
to go through and try to meet all of these, I mean, I who knows if I would have even closed a loan by now. You know what I mean? Like, the campaign is set up to then do that, all of that time consuming work for you.
Mhm.
And I don't know that I would have found the success that I have found right now without that, at least not this quickly, you
Yeah,
know?
the moment you invest in yourself is the moment you're bypassing a lot of the barriers that are in front of you at the moment,
Oh
whether that
yeah.
whether that's yourself or just the or something else.
Hmm.
That's,
Hmm.
so thanks for the numbers. As a part of like let's get to like maybe an emotional level or like a day by
Sure.
day level. How is your business different today than it was 6 months to a year ago? Your day to day, how you feel, um, things like that.
That's a great question. So I think anytime a person goes into a new industry, and particularly one where they're relying fully on themselves to be successful, it's very common to experience imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know what that means, it's where you think that you can't do it, essentially. Like, you aren't good enough. What were you thinking? And like, this is not, this is not your cup of tea. What are you doing? And so I definitely had periods in the beginning where I was like, oh, Jessica, what have you done? Like you went into this industry with this, big heart and these big goals, and you're seeing all these people around you who are doing the job really well, and you haven't even closed a single loan yet. And so like in the beginning, I did have those feelings. And that's part of the reason that I wanted to invest in myself and work with you, because I thought, just because I have these feelings doesn't mean I can't do it. It just means that I need help. And through that, I, from, feeling that in the beginning, like a combination of, what are you thinking? You can't do this. And yes, you can. You're smart. You're likable. People like you. You're going to help people. And like kind of that
Yeah.
back and forth. I now feel just so incredibly confident. Um, I I love what I do. I have helped people who were told. I kind of have developed this rescue reputation,
Okay.
where I probably 4 or 5 of the loans, so almost half of the loans that I've closed have been clients who were told no from other lenders.
Mhm.
And I have said the answer with me is not no, it's when. It might be not now, but when. And some of them I was able to close on the home that they wanted when I got their loan 2.5 weeks before their closing date. And then there were others who I've been like, okay, you know what? They told you that you're ready. I can see now that you'll be ready in about 2 months. Let's figure it out. And we closed it. And so like I have developed a lot of confidence that I didn't have in the beginning. I've gained a lot of knowledge that I didn't have in the beginning.
Mhm.
Um, I I feel much less afraid. Actually, I'm not afraid at all anymore. I used to be scared. Now I'm not scared because I've done it. I've seen the way that it works. I have seen the look on people's faces when they're like, I've worked my whole life for this and I just bought my first house. I mean, it is working in this industry is very emotional.
Yeah.
Because you're working with real people and you're working with their lives. I mean, you're the one signing the piece of paper saying, yes, you can afford to buy a home, and you don't want to get that wrong. You don't want
Yeah.
to give false hope. So I went from being like in the beginning, I don't know that if I can do this. How am I going to do this? What if I don't do a good job? To I can 100% do this. I am confident in myself. I'm confident in my team. I'm confident in the people that I work with. I know if I have questions, I can ask you. I know if I need help, I know where to go. And so like I went from having no answers and being really scared to knowing that I don't need to be scared because I can get the answers. And yeah, it's been a total 180 for me.
It sounds like it. That's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, your ROI has been 11 loans. Uh,
Yeah.
that's just today. If I call you in a month or in
Mhm.
a year, I know that number is only going to get higher.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
I know that now too. I would have, I probably would have been like, well, I hope so. But now I'm like, no, I feel really good. Like, I feel like
Mhm.
I have developed extremely strong partnerships through my campaign with you. One of which likes me enough to say, hey, let's do a podcast together. Like, another of which is like, hey, let's do a Halloween event together. I mean, I've developed these partnerships that are turning into to life partners. I mean, these are people who are becoming my friends, and this is an industry where you have to invest in people and you have to invest in yourself. And
Mhm.
um I'm seeing the ROI on all of that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
To the people on the fence about working with my company or want to try to do things themselves, what would you say to them? The biggest objection that I hear is what basically was yours is what if it doesn't work? What if I don't make
Hmm.
money back? Whatever they have to invest, it's always a lot, whether it's 100 or 1,000. Everyone says up.
Sure.
So since you've done it and the time's passed, to people on the fence, because there are a lot of people who want to work with us and they just don't because of they're scared. They're scared to lose
Hmm.
what it is, or they think it's too much when in reality they close a loan and they make their all their money back. And this
Mhm.
comes to 11. So 11 times. What would you say to them if they were to say, hey, I want to work with Will, but I'm on the fence and I have all these doubts and I'm uncomfortable? What would you say?
Mhm. I would say if you are on the fence and it's because of fear, fear of failure, fear of not knowing what working with Will is going to look like, I will tell you this. I was in the same boat. Like I mentioned, I came into this career from a totally different career path where just kind of, I wouldn't say jumped into this career, but I came into it thinking I could be successful, but not knowing how I was going to do that. Will helped me understand how to do that. Um, I was afraid that, I would put this money into it and maybe not get it back. It wasn't like Will and I sat and talked and he was like, "Well, are you going to do it or not?" Like he answered every single question I have. He showed me the statistics of what working with him could provide for me. And he very clearly told me, I'm going to set up these things, but you also have to be all in. You also have to put in the work. And I had that understanding that, okay, if I'm going to do this, here are the things that I have to be okay with doing myself. And I had really honest conversations with myself about that and knew that that was a requirement of me. It's and it's honestly, it's such a beautiful thing because, like, I think people go into this thinking like a service like this, thinking, Will is going to solve all of my problems. Will is going to provide all of the solutions that I need, and it's just I'm going to wake up one day and I'm going to be successful. And the thing is, like, yeah, he's going to do all those things, but you then have to do your part and make them happen. He essentially sets up the template, you then have to enforce it. And so if you are willing to follow his guidance and then you are willing to put in the work that he tells you you are required to put in, which isn't hard work, it just takes you have to just take the time and be willing to listen and be willing to learn,
It's things
then
that you
it's
have
a
to do
it's a
anyway.
no-brainer. Yeah. There There are things that you would be doing on your own that you don't have to do on your own. There are things that would take you a year or more to do by yourself that will not take you that long. I mean, there it's just if you want to be successful in this business and you don't know where to start and you don't know how to be successful, this is where you go. You you come to Will and he teaches you all of those things. And if you are willing to put in the work that, like Will said, you would have to do on your own otherwise, you will find success. Um, I just I would say if you're scared, just at least talk to him.
That's
He's
okay. I don't bite. Now that
he's no, he's very approachable, he's very knowledgeable, and he will cater to you the way that you need to be catered to.
Thank you, Jessica. Now that
Yeah.
you're on the other side,
Hmm.
let's think logically. Why logically should people not be scared? You've gone through the whole process. You know what we've done for you and how it works and the results, and
Hmm.
you've done your part. Now that you know what we do and what we did for you and you have the hands-on, why shouldn't someone be scared? Logically, let's get logical. Like, why
Yeah.
not scary? Why is this investment not that much when it comes to the big picture? And why is this strategy logically working for not just you, but 100 plus other people?
Sure.
Your words, of course.
Easily answered. Realtor partners or referral partners are looking for good mortgage loan originators who answer the phone when they call, who reply to their texts, who reply to their emails, who are going to take good care of their clients. Not everybody in this industry is like that. So I have found one of the main reasons why I shouldn't be afraid is because referral partners are nearly desperate to have a strong mortgage partner who knows what they're doing, who isn't afraid to say, I don't know the answer, but I'll find it for you,
Mhm.
and who will take care of their clients. And so, if you will do those things, you do not need to be scared. If you're the type of person who lets texts go and goes a couple of days without replying to emails or doesn't answer the phone, maybe this isn't for you.
Yeah,
But
if you're floopy, I don't know if that's a word, but that's the word that
it
comes.
is now.
Yeah, if you're irresponsible, then yeah, this is not going to work.
Yeah. It's
And
if you,
probably nothing is.
yeah, if you are
It
going
takes two to
to,
tango. Yeah.
exactly, if you're going to answer the phone, if you're going to learn these loan programs and be willing to help and reply within a timely fashion, there's nothing to be afraid of because these realtor partners want somebody like you. They need somebody like you to be
And
on their side and to help their clients.
and because we're prospecting thousands over months, but every single day, you tend to find those people. You found the people who need a good, trusted mortgage professional. And it's not going to happen immediately. You're going to shift through thousands of people to find the five, or in this case, almost six that want to work with you, that have been working with you, have been sending you deals, helping you
Mhm.
increase your business. And
And there's
also,
a myriad of experience on my realtor partner side of things that you might be surprised by. One of my strongest realtor partners, I'm going to a closing with him tomorrow, has been a realtor for over 20 years. He used to be a broker owner. He has since, he's older, and so he decided at this period in his life he wanted less responsibility in that respect, so he's no longer a broker owner. He sold his business, but he's been doing this for over 20 years, and in that 20 plus years has worked with many people in the mortgage industry and still hadn't found his person. So I say that to say not everybody who will wants to work with you is going to be new just like you. I have realtor partners that are newer. I have realtor partners who are extremely successful, very well known, been doing this most of my life, who still hadn't found their person. So you don't, I mean, you never know who's going to say yes to you. Yes, I want to talk. Yes, I need a strong mortgage partner, and who will give you a chance and who will then say, okay, you're my person.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
The
that's
problem, I
part
was
of
going
the
to say,
reason why you don't need 20, 30, 40 realtor partners, like it's great if you get to that point. Um,
solid group,
but
whatever that may be.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you never know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you're prospecting, let's say a couple, like 5, 10 people per week over time, that's a couple of hundred over the year, uh,
Hmm.
versus thousands of people over a couple months. Uh,
Hmm.
Probability of you finding someone who's experienced, needs someone like you, because that's what a lot of people want. They want someone who's already experienced, already has a lot of clients, because in their head that's easier for them. And while that may be true sometimes, that's what they want. And just being new is not going to stop you. It's you just haven't turned over enough stones yet um,
Hmm.
on your own because
Hmm.
you only have 24 hours in the day minus whatever you have in life to uncover those stones. And so you've been able to speak with hundreds of realtors, and that's led you with your five referral partners today.
Right. And just like you said before, of those hundreds of people that I have talked to, I mean, the majority of them are still interested in working with me. They just have their reasons to not right now.
Mhm.
And so I don't take that as a no, I take it as a when. So
Right.
I don't forget about them. I don't leave them in the dust. I still create newsletters that I send to all of them because I still want to put myself in front of them once a
Mhm.
month at least and say, hey, like, don't forget about me. I'm here if you need me. Here's some information you might find helpful for your business. So, um, yeah, I mean, it's just for me, this was uh, the decision back when I started wasn't easy. It required a lot of thinking and, you know, laying out
Mhm.
information on paper, and you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
looking back, I'm like, oh, so easy. I don't know why I was
Yeah, looking back, was all of that mulling over and thinking about it and laying it out, was that all necessary, I guess? I mean, it was for you to make a decision, but now that we're here, was that all necessary?
No, no.
No. Very, very logic. You use your
Hmm.
social media, you
Hmm.
target the right people you want,
Yep.
you start conversations every single day. Well, we're doing all this. And
Yeah.
then the people who want to chat with you, the people who are 1 year in the business, 25 years in the business, because they need a good mortgage person, they
Hmm.
reach out. And it's because you
Hmm.
set yourself up, or we set yourself up in a position to receive um, inquiries to speak with you like that.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Cool. Is there anything, I feel like we've covered everything. Is there anything else you want to end off with, or say as a message to our viewers who are again on the fence, or just feel like something, a piece of information that is valuable to them? Anything to close off our interview?
Sure. I mean, we covered a lot. I tend to ramble, so if I did, I apologize.
No, you
But
did.
I would say at the very least, if this is something you're thinking about, have a conversation with Will. Get to know him, let him get to know you. He will ask the questions that maybe you're afraid to ask yourself. He um, will very just politely and directly say, "How can I help you? What can I do for you?" Like he wants to make sure you are successful. It's not something where he's like, "Hey, just work with me so that I can, make you a number." That's not the way that he operates. You are not a number to him. You are a real person, and he will make sure that the way that he prospects for you caters to your goals. So have a conversation at the very least, and um, you won't regret it.
Thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome.
I appreciate your time. I appreciate, the interview. I'm sure this was very eye-opening for a lot of people, so I do appreciate it. If you are watching this video and you made it to the end and you do want to chat with me, you can go to my website, wamarketingsolutions.com. There is a contact us button where you can click that and schedule a call with me. We also have a Facebook group. I'm also on all social media. So if you reach out to me, I'm active on all of them. But our website will be your fastest way to getting onto your calendar so that I can have a conversation with you, like I did with Jessica over a year ago, and see how we can help you grow your referral network as well. So, Jessica, thanks so much for the time. This went longer than I expected. So, uh, time is very valuable to me. I appreciate it.
Of
Uh,
course.
yeah, so just thanks again. And who's ever watching this, please book a call. Hopefully this answered all your questions, and that when we do chat, it's a lot warmer, easier, and we can finally take the next steps to getting you to your goal, like we did for Jessica. So thanks again, Jessica. I'll go ahead and close
You're
this.
so welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.